Okay, so let's talk about image spacing and sizing. So in this training page, I have this image here of this little puppy and this text here that's supposed to be wrapping around this image. But right now, you'll see if I highlight this, I have all this space up and down. That's because it's or above and below, and that's because it's trying to this image is placed on the left-hand side of this, and then I put the text there. So let's take a look at this in the editor. And you'll see it's much different. The text is on the bottom, and so what's going on here is let me go into the image properties, and you'll see the alignment's not set. So if I set the alignment, say align left, rather than just place it on the left of the text, the text actually goes to the top of it, and let's publish this and take a look. Okay, so now it's right up there, and so what's happening is this text is actually wrapping around this image here. But there's still a problem in that this text and the image are actually pretty, like there's not much space between this. So let's go ahead and increase some space. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into this image properties, and we're going to give this some horizontal space, this H space value here. So let's go ahead and set this to like 15. And what this is going to do is it's going to place 15 pixels to the left and to the right of this image. So there's going to be more space. And you see it moved away from this edge and also moved some space away from this text here. So let's go ahead and publish this. Okay, so now we have more space between this, which is what's more desired because we can actually clearly see what this text says. And then let's go ahead and go back into that. And we can give this some vertical space as well, which is spacing above and below this image. All right, and this is what we get. So this is actually going to start wrapping, and the more I fill this up, it's going to wrap more and more around this until it reaches the bottom, and it's actually going to be down here. So this is a pretty good interpretation of spacing between images. Now let's talk about sizing. And by that I mean, you'll see if I go into the image properties, I have 10% here. So let's go ahead and set this back. Let's reset the size. And this was originally an 800 by 853, which is actually very large. And by default, these are set in pixels. So 800 pixels by 853 pixels. Let's click OK. And you'll see it's very large here. Let's publish this. And this is what we get. So there's nothing wrong with this. I admit you probably won't need an image this size. But the problem with using pixels is, let me go ahead and switch to mobile view here. And let's see. All right, you see it's taking up a lot of space here. This is 800 and this isn't even 800. So what's supposed to be happening is, okay, so what's supposed to be happening is we're supposed to be seeing not this distortion here, but it's squeezing this image to fit into the space, and then it's not even wrapping around the image properly. So how do we resolve that? Well, that's where we use percentages, and a good rule of thumb to follow is divide by 10 and add a percent sign. So this is 800 divided by 10 is 80, and just give this a percent sign. And it'll for the most part retain the same dimensions. You see it got a little bit larger. I can't tell you why divided by 10 works. It just does. So let's go ahead and publish this now. And it's fairly larger, but let's take a look at the mobile view. So in mobile view, you see it's looking a little bit better. It's retaining that 80% of the actual space, and you see the wrapping actually is intact also. So rather than some distortion, we're actually seeing this image kind of retain its resolution inside of this mobile view the more we switch this around. So this is 375, and since it's 80%, this is about 80% of the screen here, and this is about 10%, the other 10%. And then we have that the text there is still having the wrapping going on there. So this is why I recommend using percentages over pixels because it just retains better within mobile devices. It keeps the resolution of the image for that mobile device.